Ground control to Major Tom.
Hey there, welcome to episode 13. Do you ever have that feeling after you eat almonds? Do you ever have that feeling when you have a piece of almond stuck in the back of your tooth and you can't get it out no matter what you do? Sure, you think maybe a toothpick would probably work, but then you end up just jamming it into your gum and wanting to punch a small child. Well, anyways, welcome to episode 13 of PigCake Plus News. Can we make it to 100 episodes? Can we? Shall we? I think we shall. But if you paid clever attention, you would realize that that first song is about outer space. Because our first story deals with Elon Musk. Elon Musk seems to be on the news every other week. And today he happened to have shocked the world. Actually on Monday he shocked the world when he revealed the identity of SpaceX's first lunar orbit tourist to be Mr. Yusaku Maezawa, a Japanese billionaire who made his fortune in the online fashion retail market. The 42-year-old Maezawa is slated to board SpaceX's Big Falcon rocket in 2023, along with a bunch of hand-picked artists from around the world, and become the first private citizen to travel to the moon. This just goes and proves that money can truly buy happiness. You know who are the type of people that say money can't buy happiness? Retards. This guy is going to be the first private citizen to fly to the moon, usually, which takes years of NASA training. You got to be a certain type of person. You can't be a weak-minded individual. You have to be strong-bodied. And Mizawa has the disposable income necessary to drop a very significant amount of money, according to Musk, at Monday's press event to fund his trip and those of the selected artists. So I'm not sure what's actually going to happen from here forward, if he's going to have to go through some sort of rudimentary training. But it looks like he could just pay and go around the moon. And along with that payment, it will also be used to develop the BFR technology that he will be riding in. Could you imagine to be the first person to have sex in the moon? I don't think anybody's done that yet. For sure, people have banged in a space station or whatever, but the moon is virgin territory. Even jerking it on the moon is definitely new territory. That has to win some sort of award. You always have that Mile High Club when you're in an airplane and you have sexual relations in the bathroom. Jerking it off on a plane isn't really anything of significance, but definitely in space. If you jerk off in space, I think that would be something that you should get commemorated for. Maybe get a plaque, an award, something you could hang your hat on. This one's great. Former writer saw Bert and Ernie as a loving couple, and the Sesame Workshop disagrees. New life was added to a debate over the years where a former Sesame Street writer said that he not only considered Bert and Ernie to be a gay couple, but he used his own relationship as creative inspiration. So just as they said that, the organization behind Sesame Street quickly stepped in, reiterating its longtime stance that Bert and Ernie are just friends. As we have always said, Bert and Ernie are best friends, Sesame Workshop said. They were created to teach preschoolers that people can be good friends with those who are very different from themselves. Now, obviously, Bert and Ernie are gay as shit, but why do we have to sexualize children's characters? Now, while that writer inferred that Bert and Ernie are gay, Frank Oz, who created Bert, has come forward to set the record straight. I created Bert, says Frank Oz. I know what and who he is, and that isn't gay. Now, when I was younger, I didn't see Bert and Ernie that way, and only when I got older and found out that people of the same sex could bang and like each other did I ever think they were gay, but only as a joke. It's like Lenny and Carl from The Simpsons. It's a kid's show. There's no need to sexualize any of the characters. It would be the same thing if Bert and Ernie were open about their hetero relationships with other puppets. That would also be just as nasty. They're fucking puppets. Why are we even having this conversation? We need to stop being pussies and have to overthink everything. Sesame Street is a show designed to emphasize basic knowledge for small kids to be better prepared for school. We don't need to overcomplicate it. Now, unfortunately, because the writer came out and said that Bert and Ernie aren't gay, this has caused some backlash, saying that he was anti-LGBT, BBQ or whatever. And again, it just goes back to this idea of the necessity to overcomplicate and over-sexualize everything. Speaking of over-sexualizing stuff, a man is accused of rubbing his bare behind on produce at a grocery store in Northern Virginia before putting all the items back on display. So the news outlets reported that 27-year-old Michael Dwayne Johnson of Manassas is charged with indecent exposure and destruction of property. I immediately thought of The Rock walking up to a grocery store and wiping his ass on the carrots. I'm sure that probably would enhance their capacity to get you jacked, by the way, if The Rock goes in there, rubs some onions on his armpits. So Manassas police release says an employee on Saturday noticed Johnson grabbing produce, pulling down his pants and rubbing the produce on his behind before putting it back. Now, they don't mention which grocery store it was, but I have to imagine that if it was Walmart, this really wouldn't be a story. Walmart's one of those places that's pretty much lawless. I feel like you could walk in, fill up your cart, and walk right out. It's the only place where you would have to bag the items when you got back home. I've only been there a couple times, but what is it about Walmart that there's only 2 employees in the store at any given time? You have one greeter and you have one person working the cashier. That's it. The worst part is that everything inside is so cheap, so you fall under the trap of thinking, oh, you know what? I'm going to give it one more shot, forgetting that you've already given it a shot. And then you go inside, you take a whiff, and remember the last time you were there and why you said you would never go inside ever again. And they're popping up more than ever now. There's 3 within a 5 to 8 mile radius around my current proximity. Is there really a need for that many Walmarts? You're just pretty much grabbing all the worst of society and putting them inside the store. There's a whole blog dedicated to the people of Walmart. I remember perusing through and watching the many people that seem to think that bikinis are appropriate attire for grocery store shopping. So a boy was left with serious head injuries after copying a popular YouTube stunt. So the boy sustained the injuries after riding a playground roundabout as it was spun by the back wheel of a moped in imitation of a popular YouTube video stunt. In a Facebook post after the incident this week, Tyler's mother, which is the name of the child, Dawn Hollingsworth, said doctors at Queen's Medical Center in Nottingham had never seen comparable injuries. She called on YouTube bloggers to stop posting similar videos. A 20-second video shared by Hollingsworth as part of her post shows her son sitting in a chair in the middle of the roundabout at a playground in Tuxford while it spun with the back wheel of a moped which was being operated by an older boy. Now, wasn't it a couple months ago that a teenage couple tried to replicate a thing they saw on YouTube where they thought books can protect you from a bullet? And it turns out you need way more than a single book, because the kid ended up getting shot and died. And a couple months before that, you had people eating Tide Pods. I would say kids these days are stupid, but we were pretty stupid back in the day too. I remember I once put a butter knife at the end of a pair of pliers and stuck it right in the socket. Luckily, the pliers had a rubber grip, because if not, I would have been pork. You see what I did there? And the worst part is that I didn't see anybody do it. I didn't see anybody do it beforehand. I just noticed that the butter knife fit in the slot and tried it out. That's fucking retarded. Nowadays, it doesn't help that you could just take your phone out and see about 100 videos of people doing stupid shit in less than 10 minutes. If anything, it taught this kid a valuable lesson not to try things they see on the internet. I can't even imagine what I would have tried to do when I was younger if I had access to like porn even. My dick would have been everywhere. And for our last story, turns out that the youth and retardation don't go far off from each other. A teen broke into a house to use the Wi-Fi. Around midnight of July 21st, a 17-year-old broke into a house and asked the owners for their Wi-Fi password. Police quickly arrested the teen and charged him with prowling and a felony residential burglary charge. See, not only are kids stupid these days, but they're also fucking retarded. Although I feel like we aren't getting enough information here, because there's a possibility that this kid could actually be a genius. What if, get this, he broke into the house and got busted and in an act to try to seem completely retarded and try to thwart the owners into pressing charges, he pretended to be on the lookout for the Wi-Fi password or for the Wi-Fi itself. That, or he could just be fucking stupid. Either way, there's no update on the story, and at this rate, there's a strong likelihood that he could either be dead or gay. Come on, that was a joke. So that's it for the news, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed episode 13 of PigCake Plus News. Can we make it to 100 episodes? I think we can. I think we could do it. I just got to commit every day to reading the news and try to provide it to you and convey it to you in an entertaining fashion. Although the one thing that this show seems to have a downside for is that I just keep realizing how shitty we are as humans. Every time I read the news, I seem to only remind myself of the fact that we are awful as a species. We suck. We're stupid. We do stupid things. And we care about stupid things because the majority of the things that are published on the news on a daily basis are usually retarded. But thank you guys for sticking around. I'm gonna go and figure out different ways to use a can of Coke Zero to try to emulate Michael Jackson.
Again, when I see you